that. I see videos every day of cars getting broken into, cars being stolen and stuff inside the car getting robbed. These guys nowadays, when they go around breaking in, they don't even fear getting caught.
If you've been living in Canada for more than 20 years, it's no surprise to see that the crime rates have risen like crazy in this country, and it doesn't really feel that safe anymore. It doesn't matter where you live, but especially in city centers like Toronto and Vancouver and places like Winnipeg, and even smaller towns as well throughout the entire country. We're not just talking about crime though, we're also going to talk about just health and safety in general and what it's actually like now living in Canada in 2025. With that being said, guys, let's react to some videos and talk about this very topic today.
Canada. What is happening to our country? What's going on? I'm listening to the news and I can't believe what I'm hearing. Like, children are hurting children in our country. I don't understand what's happening right now. I raised my children here always feeling that they were safe going to school, like obviously not leaving them out anywhere by themselves, but like generally safe. And now all I hear is children hurting other children. A 16-year-old just hurt a 14-year-old fatally last night. A 8-year-old girl was thought to be attacked by like animals, which is just insane in itself. And then now they've discovered that it was a 17-year-old that did this to her. Like, what's happening? Like, any thoughts? What is happening to our country?
Oh, the violence doesn't stop with adults. Even kids now in school are not safe. And this is not even a surprise to me hearing this story. Honestly, my brother, he actually takes the subway every day to work because he doesn't have a car and he lives in Toronto. So a lot of people don't actually have access to cars in Toronto unless you're using Uber. Just the cost of living in general, it just doesn't really make any sense owning a vehicle unless you're making really good money in Toronto. So of course he takes the subway to work, and he says every day he takes the subway, and this isn't like a small individual or anything like that, he feels really unsafe. He says there's always at least one crazy person or one person ranting or causing a scene in every single TTC stall. And the best thing to do is put on headphones and try not to make eye contact, which is what he actually does, just in order to avoid any sort of mess on the subway, which is really scary considering he only has to take the subway for 25 minutes. And in that 25 minutes, you're really playing Russian roulette to see whether or not you're in a bad subway car.
The Canadian healthcare system has actually shook me to my core. The Canadian healthcare system has actually shook me to my core and has scared me so much that I feel like I'm paralyzed. I recently had to go to the hospital for a health scare I had, and I can't believe the state of our healthcare system and how bad it's gotten. First of all, I went to a hospital, and it's near where I live. I don't really want to name names of where I went or anything, but if you had closed my eyes and told me to open them and placed me in this hospital, I would have genuinely thought I was in a developing country. Like, no way would I have thought I was in North America, or I was shocked. Everything was falling apart. It was dirty. There was like little, I don't know if they were cockroaches or little bugs just crawling on the floor. It was so scary. And then the wait times and the amount of doctors for how many people that need a doctor, it's madness. And I understand this is systemic and macro level. It's not like the doctor's fault or the staffing or anything like that. But there was about 70 people who were in Emerge who clearly felt they had an emergency that had to wait for one doctor. There was an 11-hour wait time to see a doctor. I was triaged for this emergency that I had, and then I was in pain and this, and I was basically told, like, nothing can be done. You just have to wait to see a doctor. And I was like, can I have medication or anything? Like, can I just at least know like X, Y, and Z? Nope. All you can do is wait. I'm hesitant to talk about this next point, but I just feel like it needs to be said. I just want to preface this and say that I am a healthcare worker myself. I worked all throughout the pandemic. I understand high stress, short staff, minimum. I get it. I do 100%. But bedside manner and empathy have completely gone out the window. A lot of the staff I dealt with were impatient, rude, they were lacking empathy completely. And I get it. You're probably overworked and you're short staffed. I do understand that. But if someone's in a merge or at the hospital, this could quite literally be the worst day of their lives. And I get you're tired. And I understand that, you know, your coworker probably called in sick and you're pulling a double. I do. And I understand that not everyone's really kind to you and people can be very rude to you and you have to deal with that. I understand it. But kindness and just general human behavior, like treating someone like a human, I don't really find that anymore.
A lot of points definitely are resonating with me here, but in general, the healthcare system, not even just an emergency room visit, which can take up to 3 to 4 hours plus if you're in Toronto or Vancouver, but even just trying to find a family doctor in Canada is getting pretty hard right now. So you let me know, do you think Canada is slipping from its first world status to a developing country? Leave your thoughts about that down below.
I'm sending a PSA out to anyone who lives or works or frequents Parkdale. Okay, so this morning around 10:45 a.m. I was at one of the properties that I oversee because I do property management, and I started walking along Sororan Avenue. So this whole incident takes place in the Parkdale area of Toronto. So I left the property. I'm walking to go out to Lansdowne Avenue, and at some point I realized something is off. Like, I know Sororan is always busy with cars, with just foot traffic and stuff, but something in my spirit was like, something's wrong. So as I continue my walking journey out to get the bus to head up to my office, I realized somebody was following me. I realized, I think the person was trying to follow me because I had my phone in my hand, but I was doing, I was reading over some emails that came in for work, and at some point I turned onto one of the little side streets. I think it was like Fern, close to Wright Avenue, trying to walk up to McDonald Avenue to get up to the bus. And then, you know, I can hear myself, like I can hear my footsteps when I'm walking on the sidewalk, but then I can also hear somebody else like close behind me. And I was like, yeah, something is amiss. So my inner self told me, stop, just stop walking, just stop and pretend you're looking at something on your phone, which I did. And I stood there for about, I want to say maybe a minute or 2 minutes just to see, and I slightly turned my head and I could see that there was a man in a black hoodie with some kind of cord device. I think it was like headphones or whatever, standing a few feet behind me. Really, dude? Like, okay, bet. Because, you know, I always tell my kids this because they take TTC, but I said, you know, sometimes you just got, like, you gotta out crazy the crazy. Because I was like, today is not the day the devil wants to play with me, because I've been staying ready for anybody who wants to try and do anything to me. So continue walking after I did that little brief stop to see who was behind me. I didn't get a great look at the person's face, but I just, like, you know, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna be ready if this mofo want to try something with me today. So I started walking crazy, y'all. I started walking in zigzags. I started doing zigzags on the sidewalk because I'm like, okay, I gotta do some crazy shit because I'm not getting jumped today while I'm out at work doing what I need to be doing. I think when I started doing the crazy walking is when this person decided to, you know, back up a little bit. But then I also did another quick turnaround to try and jump scare their ass, but then I couldn't see them again. Anyways, made it up to Lansdowne, was able to cross the street safely, and then I managed to see who was behind me. I don't know if it was the same person or not, because like I was trying not to, you know, engage this person, but I did see somebody in a black hoodie with the white cord things connected to some kind of device, and that person decided to walk on the opposite side of me because I had to cross the street to get to the bus stop to go north on Lansdowne. But then at some point, they, like, when I was crossing the street, that person decided they were gonna cross the street too, and I was just like, right. So be aware, everybody who lives at Parkdale, works at Parkdale, or if you frequent Parkdale, just be careful.
If any of you guys been followed before, let me know down below in the comment section. That sounds like a really scary situation to be in. This is like the middle of the day as well. Like, this is work hours. This isn't even like middle of the night or anything like that, walking home from a club or a bar. This is literally during the day when she's at work. And if you don't believe me that the crime has gotten so bad in Canada, ever since 2014, where it was almost at its all-time low, it's been spiking every single year over the last 10 years. As you guys can see, it's at the levels it was in the early 2000s. And I remember that era. That was also a pretty dangerous era to live in Toronto. I would take the subway a lot as well when I was in middle school, and I felt very unsafe back then, and I feel unsafe as well now when I go back to Toronto. So the stats don't lie.
And I know to you young people, Canada is safe and it's a great place, and it is. But it used to be even better. 22 years ago, we bought this house when it was first built, and no alarm system in the house. Literally went to bed at night with the garage doors open, doors unlocked. That's a true story, by the way. I did it often. Over the years, it's changed. Now, not only do we have an alarm system in the house, all the windows have their own alarm system, but I've had to now add in these things up here, all over the place. Cameras. And you know, the funny thing is that I see videos every day of cars getting broken into, cars being stolen, and stuff inside the car getting robbed. These guys nowadays, when they go around breaking in, they don't even fear getting caught. They're not wearing masks, they're not wearing any kind of covering. And they see the cameras, they just know ain't nothing gonna happen to us. And sure enough, the cops come to your house. No, they won't even. You go do the police report either online or at a station, and the only thing they tell you is, hey, just make a claim against your insurance company. They'll take care of it.
Thank God cameras now are cheap. You can get relatively cheap security cameras on Amazon, and I think any resident who's living in Toronto right now should probably consider that. And also car theft. They are so bold now when it comes to car theft that they literally don't care, and he's absolutely correct. I've seen some of these videos. They won't even wear a mask or anything. I don't know if they're that dumb, they don't realize they're cameras, or they're just that blatant that they do not care. Very scary times in Canada. Leave your thoughts down below about this subject, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.